You want to be interviewed? You can be interviewed. So I'm seeing another of these totally dangerous activists.
Yes,
who need to be rounded up by a lot of heavily armed police because they are so dangerous.
We're dangerous because we expose the provocateurs.
Yeah. Will you introduce yourself? Is that all right? It's already on the card now.
Sure, yeah. My name is Matt Lepasic.
And you are here from?
We are changed New York City.
And you traveled all the way from the US to come here?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Well, the thing is that we're making a documentary for Sweden. And I'm here with a friend, and I'm so impressed with the courage you've shown already, taking initiatives and being upright and at the same time friendly and peaceful.
Yeah, thank you. It's all in a fun day's work. Gotta find something to do with all of these problems.
Yeah.
You spend all day calling them evil and everything, which they are, but it's fun to brainstorm about how we can get rid of these fuckers. I hate them.
Yeah. And the feeling is, isn't it, that we cannot really make any change as long as they are preventing it.
Yeah, it's terrible because you look at all the people that aren't here.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. And the cops are just, they gotta be nice so that we have to be nice to them, but yet they're defending these people.
Yeah.
So they just got human beings pinned against one another. As usual, good people versus good people to protect the bad guys.
Very nice put, very nice put. But mind you, I spoke with the boss, their boss, the police boss. He made it clear to me this morning in a friendly manner that if one or two would break the, nice,
they'll go grease style on us.
Yeah, and he also made it clear to me that they have all the things that were used in Athens and so on. They have the rubber bullets, they have the tear gas, they have all the power they need if they want to use it.
That's the amazing part is who's paying for all that right now?
It's a good question, isn't it?
I don't think it's American tax dollars. I think it's probably going to be Swiss tax dollars. It's incredible what they're able to get away with on someone else's bill.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, would you tell me please how you feel? You have been around in so many places and you have been active as an activist in the United States and so on. How do you feel the atmosphere here? How do you feel the general, what do you have to say about that?
Well, the whole trip in general to Europe has been very eye-opening because in America we're always discussing the problems with America, and people say to us, well, don't you know this is the best country in the world? And I get a better perspective now of what it means to really have that Bill of Rights and have the Constitution, and whether it's rhetoric or whether it's making forth, it's still an idea that you can defend in the United States. People, they say, oh, aren't you afraid you're going to be on a list, or aren't you afraid of this, that, and the other? In America, you can go do this all day long, and the worst thing that might happen to you is you get arrested. And you get let out after 24 hours or 48 or whatever. Here, it's just a big giant question mark. They can literally do whatever they want. They can place any charges on you without any evidence required, and they can make up whatever they want. So in America, if you get in the pissing contest with a police officer, usually you'll win if you go to court. Here, where's the court? Where's the judge? Where's the evidentiary hearing?
Somebody came in
it's really going to help me critique how I give my speeches in the future, how I discuss this with other people in terms of trying to restore and preserve what little we have left in America. If we do think that we're the biggest and baddest and greatest and got this wonderful democracy, coming to Europe is a really good reason to try to keep it.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks. See you later. The camera's rolling.
My name is Clarice Elizabeth Drouet of the family Aiken, and I was born in 1959. And unbeknownst to me, I was signed into slavery by my parents, signing a birth certificate, a enumerated document that made me the property of the United States of America Incorporated, that fell into bankruptcy and was taken over. That bankruptcy was managed by the holding company, the Federal Reserve Bank. Now I've just come to this conclusion after I saw a film. It was called Slavery by Consent, and it mentioned maritime law. And I understood maritime law. My father was in the Navy. I grew up, I was born on the Naval Air Station, Pensacola, NAS, in America. And so I understood the laws of maritime, but I didn't quite understand that they were the laws that were ruling America. I thought they would only pertain to the sea, and that we were being ruled under common law. And I saw this film, Slavery by Consent, and I started studying, and I spent 3 days, no sleep, no rest, hardly any food. And I delved into the fact that some of these laws of maritime are coveted in museums and in libraries and are worth millions. They're insured for millions. In some cases, they're only printed one time. They're only given to certain persons of power. If you dig hard enough, you will find that in actuality, the maritime law is the law of ownership. And when America fell into bankruptcy, the maritime law dictates that everything must be inventoried, enumerated, and given value. And certain items most certainly would fluctuate according to markets. I found that my own identity, my birth certificate that was assigned to me by this system, this process, was floated on the New York Stock Exchange. And in their own documents and laws under maritime law, I'm an owned human product, human animal, human equity, and I rebel against it. And I had to see the law to understand how to file suit against the law. So I claim common law jurisdiction, and under common law jurisdiction, I am a human being, and I cannot fall into the ownership or hands of anyone else that I did not agree to the contract in the first place. The contract was signed without my knowledge, consent. It was farcical in a guise. So from the very beginning, there was no contract to begin with. It was an enumeration of a product, and I was forced in this product at birth for the mere fact of being born in a country that was in receivership. And all countries and nations that think that they are countries and nations, your products, look it up, look up your country, see if it hasn't been floated on a market or a stock exchange as an incorporated entity. And in this European Union, most Europeans don't even know that their countries, their nations, have been reduced to simple states within the Union. No more is Italy a nation of Italy, it's a state within the Union. So you've all been, we've all been incorporated, and we've all been enumerated. And now in my opinion, it's time to separate the good assets from the not so good assets, and the assets of no value. And with assets of no value, it's to be dispensed with, and that includes the human population. It includes anything that has no value. We're taking up space, according to them, to the Bilderbergs, to their philosophy. It's business. It's nothing personal, it's only business. So I, as a human product of no value, they can just dispense with me how they see fit. And I do believe that the Bilderbergs, and for centuries and centuries, all wars have been by proxy. They meet, they decide on the plan, they decide who will win, who will lose, who will be on top, who will be on bottom, who will get this technology, who will be denied. They decide it all. And we live under a farce, a guise. If you think you're free, you're not. You're a enumerated product. That's all you are. And I come from a family that's of mixed blood. My grandmother was part American Indian. She was Blackfoot from the Cree Nation. The common language from that nation would have been Cree, Algonquin. Some of the first nations of America were the Indian nations of the North. They formed a confederation. They had similar customs, and they also had their own what you might call declaration of humanity. And they adhered only to the Great Spirit. And my studies to find out my heritage there led me on a vast journey of inner spirituality, you might say, as well as seeing the truth that we can't own each other with a mere piece of paper. That's ridiculous. That would mean I would just sign a piece of paper, walk over to somebody and say, "Can I have your autograph?" They sign it, I own them. That's ridiculous. That's toilet paper. You could write a contract on toilet paper like that. I own this person. Sign right here. Thank you very much. It's ridiculous. I came from, I felt, a good family that we talked a lot about politics. We were very passionate. We talked about wars like World War I, World War II, the Civil War, the American Indian War, the French American War, the Spanish American War. We talked as if they happened yesterday. So I had the benefit of a very rich feast of information in my household about the histories. And I was not denied any resource to research all of those. I could research everything. I could research Buddhism, I could research Catholicism, I could research history, infinitum. And I actually feel quite ashamed of myself because I did get out of the school system. I was accused of doing something by the school system at the 9th grade. I was accused of smoking a marijuana cigarette and I hadn't. And they confronted me in the principal's office with my mother. I was more afraid of my mother than the principal. And they had a state trooper, a Louisiana state trooper. And they were trying to scare me, and they said, "Look, we know you did it." And I said, "No, I didn't." And I said, "Please arrest me, because I'm not going to turn over names." They wanted to say, "Oh, we let you off if you tell us who else was participating." I said, "First, I never participated. Please arrest me." I looked directly in the police officer's eyes, and I said, "Arrest me, take me in, take my blood and urine samples, because I haven't done it. And I will own this school. I will get you fired. I will have your badge." I went ballistic in that office. And my mother put her hands on me and said, "Please sit down." And she looked at the police officer and the principal and she said, "This child, when she lies, is afraid. But when she's telling the truth, she will die to preserve that truth. She will die. She's not done this. You don't understand, she's telling the truth. But she's not afraid of you. She's not afraid of what you can do to her." And so my mother believed me, and I left the school system, and I told the principal, "If you turn me in to CPA, to the child protection agencies, or my mother for me not attending school, I'll have your job. I'll have you. I will sue you in civil court for wrongly accusing me of a crime I did not commit." And so began my liberation of it then. But then I rejoined school and I went to college for an associate's degree, basically in electronic office technology, going from IBM systems to the new Microsoft systems and computers. So I really started out with learning all of the matrix as far as computers worked and how they could make your life better or make you a slave even more. But I fell deeply into the system because I wanted to travel, and I actually went into civil service and ended up living in England and working on a military base. And my epiphany happened at 9/11. When 9/11 happened, I immediately left my job, and my co-workers and my boss didn't mind. I didn't return to work for 4 days. I was trying to absorb as much information as I could. I joined the internet in 1998, yahoo.com, clarisd@yahoo.com in 1998. One of the first subscribers, probably they'll kick me out now, but I don't really care. And I started researching 9/11 and why this happened and how it happened, false flag events. I was having to absorb such copious amounts of information. Sometimes it was making me very frustrated and angry, other times very disparaged and sad, but I just could not give up because I knew it was the truth. I knew 9/11 was an inside job. I knew that it was a false flag event. I knew the day after that they said that they found a perfect passport in the rubble, but they couldn't find human beings, but they found a perfect passport of a man who hijacked a plane and flew it. I just said, no, this is getting more preposterous. Who's writing the script on this? They need me to write the script. And believe me, they wouldn't have wanted me in charge of 9/11, of America after 9/11, because honestly, I would probably be in that matrix. I would have done worse things than what they've done, but they're so stupid. They want you to buy hook, line, and sinker every lie they tell. It's unbelievable. And I'm here now. This is the first Bilderberg meeting I've ever been able to drive to because I live nearby, and I couldn't believe they chose this location. I was like, oh my God, they chose this location. And I've met the most unusual people. But what it really has done to me in this journey of truth is reveal how much I did not know. And I'm carrying quite a heavy burden of guilt that as a human being, I should have known better. Because I am a child of my God, of my great spirit. I'm a child of the universe. And I let myself be trapped in a box, in a phalanx of lies. And I am just now fighting back, and I'm fighting for all I'm worth because my time here is so very limited. I have cancer now. I have a bone marrow cancer. Basically, I had to sue to pay off the rest of my debts, to take my Social Security, and I didn't want to owe any money to the system, and I wanted to declare my emancipation from the system. And I don't want to be incorporated. And please, I warn all of you, do not get a trademark on your name, your person, or your idea. Don't trademark it, share it freely. Because once you take on a trademark is in their law. You actually are participating in their maritime laws once you trademark yourself. This is a maritime law trademark. Salomon is a company. By extension, Salomon is just part of the New World Order, just like everything else you see. And I'm really feeling guilty about my own humanity right now. My love for God, earth, people. I love people. What people can do, man, what we can do on so many levels intellectually. And the fact that because they made this number and made me a product, they have first rights on anything that I can create, think of, any monetary, any property I might own, a house or a car, or my clothes. They have first call on it because that is the law of ownership. And on my intellectual product as well. When I joined the public school system, I didn't realize, and I'm sure my mother didn't realize when I joined public school in college, that I was actually signing an agreement that they could actually have first rights on all intellectual property. All intellectual, art, music, science. You know, we think we live freely, and we really, really don't. And it is all based in law. They covet the law. They covet it. Why did the people, the founding fathers, coin the documents that they did? They did the Declaration of Independence, and they took great care in law to combat it. Because when you file a lawsuit against someone, you have to know which laws they are pulling from to pull the laws that you will combat against those laws. This is like a tennis match, to put it in a very simplistic term. When you have certain ways to serve the ball and return the ball to the optimum effect of winning, to defeat your opponent, the law works in a very similar fashion. They have the ball, it's in their court. I launch my ball back, but I have to know by what spin if they put on that tennis ball. Is it going to go left, right, or center? How far is it going to lob over? It's going to slice. How am I going to react to the effect of these laws on me? So I had to go to the law. And I keep harping on the law because they covet it so much. it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how much they covet the law. The law of the covenant, the law of the Ten Commandments, let's say. The Indians, the American Indians, actually came to their own conclusions. Our tribes were up in the north. They would travel south in the winter, very deep into the south, and back up into the north. And they did this on a seasonal, for food, for good living, for health. Very nomadic. But why is being nomadic a bad thing? I don't find being nomadic a bad thing. I found it to be very much of a beautiful idea and concept. They had to create accords with each other because the tribes could, in some cases, speak a common language, Algonquin, but they had similar customs but different. So they had to really establish a contract, a verbal contract, by which they lived by their word, their honor. Their word was their honor. If they broke their word, they had no honor. And that was very damaging to a tribal people. You had to live by your word because life and death was determined on how honest people were with each other. So they were very honest, and they also had their councils and circles. You would have the first council of chiefs, the second council of advisors to the chiefs, and the third council of what you would call open council of wise people, and women were involved, children were sitting there. Sometimes these councils could take literally days and days without stop. They would take a break, but not everyone left the chamber. And they made these accords of free travel, nobody can own the land, nobody can own a person. It is absolutely hideous and ridiculous concept to own another person. The biggest mistake I think the Founding Fathers made when they formed the Declaration of Independence, and they fought so hard to make it a perfect legal document, it was a declaration of war. They based it all in law. In part, they based it on the Indian contracts that the Indians made, the accords they had with each other. You might as well say that the Indians had the first constitution, because their constitution says you can't own the land, you can't subject other people to slavery, and so on and so forth, and that we are ruled by the Great Spirit, and it's hideous to think otherwise, to say that you have the power of life and death over someone. These concepts were very alien, and the Founding Fathers definitely knew a lot about the Indian philosophies. They incorporated it in the Constitution of the United States of America. Again, they worked on this document so much for the reason they were combating maritime law. Maritime law made them actually subject to the Queen, or King. I'm sorry, at this time it was a king in England. And we are talking 1776. And because they were subject to those laws, they had to combat in law. Why not just pick up a gun and go and start shooting rebel Englishmen? Why not just go like the Indians and just, as they say the Indians did, and massacre everybody? Because they wanted it all in law. They wanted it in writing. They wanted every jot and tittle. They wanted every I to be dotted, every T to be crossed. They wanted it to be an ironclad document. And the problem here is we think on two dimensions only. We seem to only think on two dimensions when we should be thinking more spherically. The attack on the Constitution didn't just happen on two levels. Everyone is simplistic in thinking just because the war was won that we were victorious. The Crown never acknowledged that we were victorious. The Crown never acknowledged that we were victorious.
And I have been given the possibility to say one thing to the world. And what I have to say is that we have a very, very important decision to make, all of us, in this time, in this moment. Everybody have to make up their minds whether they want to wake up or whether they want to stay asleep. Because if we do not wake up in this time, we have no future. The plan that is being prepared for us doesn't involve most of us. The people who are in charge are eugenicists. They make no secret. They write in their books. They get standing ovations in their speeches in universities for the children of the elite when they announce that they want to take away 80% of the global population. If you want a future for yourself, your children and your grandchildren, you just have to wake up and help us all to prevent what they are planning for us. That is the only way that we can get into a better future together. Thank you very much.
Yeah, straight on fight the new world order and make a new world order, but our world order.
We are looking to find happiness. And we are reaching for peace.
He